outside.
Oh, leeches.
It's my leeches.
Okay.
Hopefully, when he wears his hat, he was always wearing that. Hey, Nick, look up. Hopefully,
You sure you don't have anything you want taken care of?
I think I trust you, yeah. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
You trust me?
Show me what you would do.
it depends on how many words it's
Are you really here for it?
Whatever it comes to.
He probably has a lot of words.
You can ask for it now.
Here, Carl, you do it.
Come have a seat.
So he goes to work.
What's your name? Donna? I'm Dr. Newman. I'm doing this now because we won't be able to do this afterwards. Because I'm going to have to amputate your arm.
I was going to say.
Right. So,
Pulls him out.
stand up and do this.
Oh yeah, no.
So, you got shot with a musket ball. Terrible thing to happen.
Yes, I've been saying.
Put your hand up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's got a little weight to it, right?
Yes, it does.
So this comes flying through the air, strikes you in the arm, shatters the bone. Now, I'm a well-trained surgeon. If you were my only patient,
See you later, Doc.
take care. I can open that up, take out any loose fragments, reposition the bone, splint it up, and maybe save your arm. You might not have full use, but you'd have your arm. But on board ship or in a battle or whatever, if I got multiple patients, I can do the most amount of good for the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time. So guess what? Yeah, the arm's coming out.
The arm is easiest. Wow.
So what's the first thing we got to stop?
Me from screaming.
All
I'm
right.
thinking
Here's your anesthetic.
the blood. I was going to say, what is
Yeah.
my...
That's your anesthetic.
You don't knock me out. What is that? That's for
Just a piece of leather.
just so that you
I don't want you biting your tongue, and I hate the screaming.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to take this,
Tourniquet.
put your arm in there. I'm going to bring this up nice and high, just like we do today.
I still can't believe
Tourniquet
that
goes on
people
high
did
and
this.
tight, and we're going to screw this down tight. Now this was developed in France at the beginning of the 18th century. It's a petite type tourniquet. Before that, it was a band, a stick, you twist it. If that came apart, 1 to 2 minutes you blow it out. Now you got to be your own assistant, because I'm not going to crank this on tight. So you just got to, don't crank it, just got to hold it there. So once this is in place, the bleeding's under control. I gave you the anesthetic.
Right.
You can chew on your gum.
I can't.
Just don't scream.
Yeah.
All right, so step 1, curved amputating knife. And this is an original to the period.
It is.
Now, all instruments came from England before the war. When the war started, we're not sending anything over here anymore. So, they had to make their own. So see all those little fine lines? So this started out life as a file. And a blacksmith reforged it into a curved amputating knife. And the way this is going to be used, I'm going to take your arm, and I'm going to come all the way around, and I'm going to make one quick incision right down to the bone.
I was going to say, you can't get the bone that way.
No, I'm not cutting the bone, I'm just cutting the tissue.
Oh.
Once that's done, my assistant is going to grab one of these leather retractors. So we either have 2 bone, lower arm, lower leg, 1 bone, upper arm, upper leg. He's going to take that, insert this in the incision I've made, and he's going to grab the 2 ends, and he's going to haul that muscle tissue as high up that bone as he can. I want a good inch and a half bone exposed. Once I've got that tissue out of the way,
Oh, Lord.
I have the bone saw. This is another original to the period. Blade's new, but the rest of it's in English. Right up against that leather retractor is now where I'm going to saw through the bone. Once that's done,
How long does it take?
we'll get to that. Once that's sawn through, this is off. It's going to go in the bucket over here with the other limbs. At the end of the day, we're going to take those out and we're going to burn them. We don't like to bury them. because the animals have a tendency to dig them up, and it's no good for the men to see a wolf go by with somebody's arm or leg in his mouth.
Morale would go down.
And that's right. It really decreases the morale.
Yes, it does.
So
Yeah, it's past
now we got that done. We gotta contain the vessels. So I take this instrument. This is a tenaculum.
What you do, an amputated?
I have 2 pre-tied wax lung sutures.
So the
So
amputation.
this is your arm now. Here's the end of the stump.
Right. The rest of it's
I'm going to
gone.
catch the artery, bring this over, pull it out, tie it off. And I'm going to do that to the major vein. I can loosen this up a little bit more. If I have any other big ones, I'll repeat that process. Once I have the major vessels tied off, in the brazier here of hot coals, I have a cauterized cherry red hot. And I'm going to cauterize the end of that stump. Loosen it again. If there's more bleeding, I'll grab another one. And I'll keep repeating it
No.
till there's no more bleeding.
So you have to tie it off first.
And big vessels I got tied. All right, so now we don't need this.
Okay.
So now we got the stump. So I'm going to take a bulky dressing and I'm going to saturate this with regular household flour.
Flour?
Flour. And that's going to go on the end. And then I'm going to take dressings and I'm going to go back and forth around and secure this tight to the end of the stump. And then my last dressing, I'm going to start up high and I'm going to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, trying to get the end of that stump as small as I can make it before I'm done. Then we got these nice woolen caps that goes on and holds everything in place. And now you can explain why your wife has an amputated arm.
What's the flour for? Absorb the...
We'll get
We're
there.
gonna get there? Oh, okay.
Now on board ship, what do you think water's for?
On the ship,
On board ship, what would you use water for?
to drink.
Not cleaning, drinking. Okay? But down below decks, we have barrels and barrels of what?
Vinegar.
Vinegar, using for disinfecting below decks. So I'm going to take vinegar with a little bit of water, and in 48 hours, we're going to soak it, we're going to remove the dressings, wash it good, redress it, and then we're going to do it every 24 hours. Now, what do you think her survivability is?
20%.
Here you go, husband. Let's have a good answer.
80%. We'll be optimistic.
I'm saying
50 to 80% survivability.
Okay.
50 to 80.
50 to 80% survivability.
That's not that bad, considering.
Because there's 2 things I did for my reason that increased her survivability. What do you think those 2 things were?
The vinegar.
Vinegar, right? Because it's
thinking
killing
that-
germs, which I don't know
The
about.
cauterization.
Boy, you're smart. Yes, I'm cauterizing to stop bleeding, but a word I do not know, I also sterilized the end of that stump with that extreme heat. Good for you, excellent. You deserve to survive. So, 50 to 80%. How long do you think it took me to do this? Cut through the tissue, saw through the bone, tie off the major bleeders.
Wasn't showing up and wasn't contacting anybody.
Probably went. I mean, the bone has marrow in it, so it probably would be. That would probably be the longest part, cutting through the bone. I don't know. I mean, it'd have to be
Yes.
as quick as you. Ooh, I don't know. I'll say it's 20 minutes.
Oh no.
I was going to say 15.
15,
I'm not waiting for you to do
90 seconds.
90 seconds,
Wow.
I'd say about 30.
30.
I said, I just don't feel
I'm not going to ask him because he knows.
in the ransom.
A good surgeon could cut through the tissue, saw through the bone, tie off the major bleeders in 1 to 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
You're hard to operate quickly, or the patient will go into shock and die. Now, 2 bones, lower leg, lower arm, takes a little longer because I got to separate the tissue between the bones.
Wow.
Okay?
So to dress it and do everything.
No. Cut through the tissue,
Cut through the tissue.
saw through the bone, tie off the major bleeders.
We are medical, yes.
Now, granted, it's going to take a little more time to dress it and so forth, but that's not life conserving.
How
The
long?
life conserving, it might take up to 15 minutes to get it all properly dressed and everything. But the thing is,
That's
once
what I was
I've
thinking,
once I've got the major stuff done,
And that takes
I'm
how
turning you over to my surgeon's mate, and he's going to do the dressings and so forth.
Okay, because you have to keep going.
I got to move to the next one. Hence the apron,
So it takes under 5 minutes for you to do
So the idea is, if you stay next year,
because blood gets slippery. So I'm moving from patient to patient. So I simply wipe my hands and go to the next.
I know that they're using it.
You're patient number 1 of the day.
They'll actually use it.
You get a nice clean knife.
Clean the,
You're patient 10 of the day. Everything from the last 9 is on here. At the end of the day, my surgeon's mate will wash this, sharpen it, and then on board ship coat it in oil because it's not surgical stainless steel, so it will rust.
it must get dull. Like you said,
Yeah, at the end of the day, it gets, yeah, if you're emptying down the road. But it's good steel. It sharpens and holds it down.
and you would just have one, you wouldn't have like a couple of it.
Oh yeah, so I got some other ones here too. Oh yes.
I mean, soap, you know? Yeah, right.
that's too much. The brain is wired. Low surface. I see smoke.
Now, since you were such a good patient,
She's a good patient.
my practice is in Newport, Rhode Island.
That's why when we go to these places,
So,
it's nice to have at least 30 minutes
as my patient today, your souvenir is
just warming up.
a Rhode Island $2 bill.
Refreshing. And then
Just don't try to spend it in the gift shop.
even if it could be
You're
years,
welcome.
we haven't picked up the most meat.
All right, nice to have met you.
Yeah, you too.
Once you know the
Can't use that arm because it's gone now.
It's gone.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was